Heippa hei, it's Riikka Kovasin here today, and I'm making some kind of mixed media coins. A little bit bigger size, but still. These are teeny tiny mixed media assemblages. My base for these are these kind of color shard MDF discs I got from work. They were going to the bin because we don't have that color anymore, and well, I saw them as perfect little canvases or bases for mixed media pieces, so I took them home. I chose a color scheme that kind of goes nicely together, but in the end I covered them using the paint all together, so I could have used any colors for these. As the first layer, I'm adding a little bit of texture to each of the discs, and this is by using Finnabar stencil and some modeling paste. Without letting the paste dry, I then start building the composition on top. For the glue part, I'm using a heavy body gel and adhering first a little piece of lace to the background and then going for the more dimensional, bigger elements. I'm adding these chipboard scissors to each piece and also this molded lady face. This is just hot glue to a silicone mold. They don't look much as it is, but when I add the colors on top, they turn out okay, believe me. I'm also adding a couple of leaves made the same way, but these have already black gesso on top of them, so they look a little bit nicer than the pale white lady faces. I then let the gel to set for a couple of hours before moving on. After the gel has had some time to dry, I then paint each of the discs with black gesso. So, as you can see, I cover everything, so the color of the disc of the base wouldn't matter anyway. I then let the gesso to air dry, as it's acrylic based, that's quite fast, but I don't dare to use heat tool because of the hot glue embellishments, so they won't melt with the heat. After the gesso layer is then dry, I start adding colors on top. I'm first going with this kind of metallic tone, dry brushing it here and there. So it's not going to cover the whole thing, but I'm going through the whole piece, but letting the black stay in the grooves. I'm kind of highlighting the texture, the dimension form. I'm also adding a touch of wax to each and repeating these layers to all of the three. First the metallic paint and then letting them dry. After I have that paint layer done, I then start to add patina on top, and this is just by using 3 different matte acrylic colors. These are from Paper Artsy, and they are kind of these weathered copper tones. So there's this teal color or turquoise, then a minty color, and then this kind of spruce green. You can find the color names in the description box. I dry brush these colors also on top of the discs to make them look a little weathered. From the start, I then thought to add some flowers along with the leaves to the pieces, but I didn't want to do it before because sometimes when you add gesso to paper flowers, they kind of go flat. So instead, I waited for the flowers to be added a little bit later in the stage, and also I chose flowers that had already a color scheme that would go nicely to my project. So I first adhere the flowers in place using just craft glue, but then add some acrylic touches on top to tie them to the color scheme, to the project more, so they're just not untreated element on top of this mixed media thing, but everything goes nicely together. I'm first adding the kind of patina tones to the flowers, and then after letting them dry, also some of that metal tone. As a finishing touch, I then mount each disc to this wooden canvas base. This kind of highlights in my mind that they are coins, decorative coins, because, well, you can see those sometimes mounted on top of a wooden block or another substrate. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you find this video enjoyable, and I'm wishing you a very great weekend and, well, great summer as well. There's going to be, at least in the month of June, each Friday a new process video, except for the midsummer. So I'll be seeing you within a week. Bye!